Peace. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to FlyDialogue. Man, we got a dope session for you today. Our man Truth, aka Josh Jacobs from Capital Minds Entertainment, is rocking with us. So yeah, let's get to it.
Have a project, have a couple projects out, but don't ever stop promoting your music. You know what I'm saying? I can see cats put a whole project out and post that shit one. I'm sorry, I keep cussing.
But this ain't for kids.
Okay. Like some people put you work 6 months, 7 months to put this project out, and you post it one time, and then you gone. I don't see you on social media anymore. Right. Where are you? Where'd you go? like where are you? So that's not just for my artists, that's for a lot of artists. I'm like, man, I'm looking for a follow-up. What, like, I become fans of people from hearing them, what you did. But I mean, I like artists from hearing them, but I become a fan when I can go and listen to more of what you got.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Or you tell me that there's more coming. Now I'm hanging on the edge of my seat like, yo, where's the music? Because that's what I do. I listen to music.
Yeah, at that point, they got you, man, if you're checking for them, too. So
I'm checking for you. Yeah.
Dig back. If I find any artist I like, I'm trying to find everything they ever made.
I'm going back.
Yeah, I'm always, I immediately like, oh, who's this? Because it's certain cats, like, I mean, that I really like now that, they're starting to come into prominence. But I remember when they first, like when Smino first came out, I was like, oh, who's this dude? It's like certain,
I be listening to some of the most obscure cats. This is one kid out of I thought he was from Chicago, but apparently he's from Texas. His name was Tizo Touchdown. You ever heard of him?
Tizo Touchdown. Now I'm gonna check him out though.
I listened to his video just scrolling through YouTube one night at like 2 a.m, and he had this song called Sucker and got me just like that. And then I went and looked at all his other videos, and they all had that same weirdo vibe, kind of like not typical rap, not typical music. And I've been listening to everything that cat put out, and now
he's crazy, man. I mean, it literally just takes one. You know what I'm saying? To like, you just got to have more after that. Obviously, if you've done the work, but that one can get you, and then you just like, all right, you down the rabbit hole.
So interesting enough, right? I'm a fan of like places that make really unique sounds and that are kind of weird and different. So I love stuff from like the Bay, like Detroit, like because they have their own sound, right? Memphis is the same way, right? And so for you, what would be like one of those weird pockets that you find music that you really enjoy that's like just kind of different or left?
Well, that's the crazy thing is I'm from the Midwest, so we always had influences.
Yeah, y'all always had
everywhere. Like Chicago sounded different from New York. I mean, when I started rapping at like 13 or 14, I'm on records talking about Queensbridge, Dunny. Like I'm from there. Like bro, I'm not from Queensbridge. My brother was like, "Why you keep yelling that shit?" I'm like, "That's what Nas and Mom is yelling." Yeah, and so I was yelling that shit on records, on recording on. And so I'm influenced by so much. Like I grew up listening to. I had a big brother too, so a lot of the music that I listened to was passed down because. He was the coolest person to me, but he was literally just getting music from his friends and coming back home and was like, bro, have you heard this? Like, so, he brought Southern Playalistic home. He brought It Was Written home. He brought Too Short Cocktails. I'm in 6th grade.
I had that too.
Too soon.
I was on that joint too, man. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, that was around that time.
I'm listening to Spice One.
America's Most.
No,
my brother had that too, man.
Bro. Like, look, 187 he wrote.
Hey, bro, we had the Chronic when it came out, and I was like, what, 12 when that came out, 92? Man, we was on all that. So I hear you, man.
I was on the Chronic pretty early. Yeah,
we gave my 6th grade teacher hell. Because we got to pick our own groups, right? Like, so we got to pick groups, and it's 93. So the Doggy Style had just dropped. Snoop was the hottest thing ever.
Yeah. So
we get to pick our own work groups in the classroom, and the white kids in the group, they picking like Leonard Skinner, you know what I'm saying? Ozzy Osbourne, Black Def Leppard. So he's like, we want to name our group Doggy Style. And this white lady was like, nah, y'all can't do that. She was like, y'all gonna give me fire. I'm like, no, we made the poster and everything. Like we naming our group Doggy Style.
Yeah, that Johnson.
Listen, we had no clue it was a sexual position. Early 90s, boy, it was a wild time.
Oh yeah, the early 90s was out there, man. Like, when Onyx came out, we was rocking that joint too. I mean, that was back the fuck up. Like that was, you know what I mean?
One word,
like throw your guns in the air and buck like you just don't care. I was in Jersey at that time, so
all of that are my influence. Busta Rhymes, MC Hammer, all of those are my influences.
Yeah. I lived in the Bay when Hammer was hot, man. I used to live in the Bay when Hammer was hot.
All of that coming from the Midwest, all those are my influences. And then my brother raps. So now he bringing Tech 9 albums from Kansas City.
Yeah.
He bringing all early Lunatic projects from St. Louis. We getting Master P, we getting the Yin Yang Twins before anybody knew on the little mixtapes. He bringing cats from Chicago. A cat from Chicago. I'm still looking for this album called a dude named Moses Guns. I haven't been able to find him.
Moses Guns. I never heard of him.
The boy was cold. The boy was cold. So those are all my influences. So Kirk can attest to this. Like the shit that I was making with my buddies, the Touch Tones.
Yeah.
With Rob and Hazardous, and we made wild shit. We made some wild shit. We made a Stalker song was like hiding in the bushes, like I really love it, like kind of like a rock.
Wow, bro.
It was wild. And so we made off the wall shit, but we also did my buddy Ishmael did Walk with a Dip for Louisiana Cash in 2011, 2010.
Yeah.
And so that type of Midwest influence allowed me to be able to think and hear music from different places and be able to put my own style and vibe to it. And that's what I do with my artists. Like I hear shit different. You know what I'm saying?
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is.
So as far as managing now, I mean, you manage and you produce still. I mean, what's like the balance for you on that?
So management is two parts, right? So we make sure that our artists have a place to record, have production that they need, and so that falls usually on my lap. So I'm in the studio with the artists. I'm telling them, let's go for something. Let's do it like this. I'm taking what they give me. And let's do it like this, except for a couple artists like Weeze. Like he got his own producer. Him and his producer Nasty Nice are crazy. And there's no reason for anybody else to get in between what they got going. So they go do their own thing. And we just say, okay, bet. But, for most of the artists, Destiny, PM, Virgos, I'm in the studio with them. And then we take whatever they have and do whatever needs to be done with it. And it's a good thing you were talking about distribution out of Memphis, because we actually work with a distribution company out of Memphis that kind of do what DistroKid and what's the Steve Stout got going?
I know
United Masters.
Yeah,
they kind of do their own thing just like that. Back in the day in Memphis, it used to be just Selecto hits.
Yeah. And I remember them. So that was like the big thing. I was curious. I know a lot of at one point in time, I knew 3-6 would run most of their artists through Selecto hits if they were new, and get them on that platform. It's almost like a testing ground to see if they could then put them on a bigger label,
just to see how many units you can move here.
Exactly. And it's funny because, like certain places where people had to get it on their own, like just that's Memphis is one of those places where cats really were independent, hardcore that they understand how to do that, and it's like that infrastructure kind of helps people launch out of there. Same thing, in the Bay, and the same thing in Houston, like those markets kind of were organic, in a weird kind of way. So
same thing in Kansas City. I mean, Tech 9.
Yeah, man, it's interesting.
Strange records or strange music is still top 5 number 1 independent labels in the world.
What's crazy is, man, I heard him on an interview where he said that he got a lot of game from ICP, specifically because he said, ICP, like, it's certain people. Like I remember hearing, like, Luke Skywalker was a guy who I interviewed DJ Toomp one time, and that guy is like, incredible. I mean, he's one of my favorite. But he was talking about how, you know, Luke and them used to press their own vinyl, and that's what ICP does. Like, they do everything in-house. And that's what, you know, people say independent, it doesn't always mean that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the same. And so I remember he talked about Tech9 saying that I got a lot of game from those dudes, and now he tried to model his operation after that. And that's why Strange Music makes so much money. Like, it's all, you know, it's insane to be like really self-made almost. You know what I'm saying? They got some help along the way from certain cats. I know that he was real on tight with like Sway and them back in the day, but at the same time, like, that's an organic, like, stood itself up kind of, or, you know, it's crazy.
Kansas City is like the easternmost West Coast city. I mean, if you listen to the cats that in Kansas City, how they talk like West Coast cats.
Yeah,
like so,
straight up.
So Tech, as much as he is like connected with ICP and all them, like, Tech was the one that went and got J-Rock.
That was another question I had. And Khalid, I was like, certain cities, right, they have a kinship, right? I feel like a lot of Midwest cats, like the West Coast sound kind of hit there real well. And I think also there was this thing about the East Coast, because, you know, I kind of lived on both coasts, is that, you know, the East Coast wasn't really messing with nobody for a long time. So, you know, the West Coast was like, all right, we'll mess with everybody, the South, the Midwest, and there was a lot of cross-pollination, right? So I've heard people, you know, from Kansas City say that they got a real good kinship to like the Bay. I know Detroit, similar kind of way, you know, there's like a lot of crossover. It's real interesting, you know. So for you being out of there, were you influenced more, you think, one way or the other? You said you had a lot of, you know.
I'm from the boot heel of Missouri. So we closer to Memphis. Like, I'm from right in between Memphis and St. Louis. So and if you know anything about St. Louis is, it's a city full of Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee niggas. Like, like every black person in St. Louis can go back to their grandparents or their great grandparents was from Arkansas or Tennessee or Mississippi, and so like that's
crazy. I really didn't know that. Like, but it makes sense. It's like right there, but
I feel like that migration happened. It was just exactly. I feel like it was that migration, especially for jobs, going up to like Detroit for jobs and Chicago and stuff like that. But then along the way, you get like a lot of these families that kind of, you know, in between. And it's really interesting because I knew a lot of cats from, you know, from Ohio when I was in Tennessee, you know, like had family connections, a lot of Detroit cats, a lot of Chicago folks, a lot, you know, St. Louis too.
Like, I was one of the only cats, like, when I started rapping that had more like an East Coast flavor. You know what I'm saying? But I was, you know, but Southern hip hop, Master P, you know what I'm saying? When he that run from like 95 to like 99 was crazy.
It was
early 2000s.
They probably put out 200 CDs.
Be sure to visit FlyDialogue.com to find out more about us, including our radio station where we stream hip hop 24/7. Yo, we're literally jamming as we speak. We got a craft beer blog called Cream. Craft rules everything around me. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the craft beer app called Untapped, or on YouTube. Just search Fly Dialogue on all these platforms. Be sure to follow us and friend us, subscribe to us. Long story short, check us out. We'd love to have y'all, and we look forward to connecting with you. And let's talk soon.